Hey everybody, Jochen Heiden here. I'm back with the Lodrik versus Heiden campaign, War in the Pacific, Admirals Edition, Scenario 1. This is the March 11th, 1942 combat replay and intel analysis. Let's get into it. Recording. Okay, here we go. March 11th, 1942. I'm hoping for a better turn here. The last 5 days of this campaign have not been great. So he just grabbed Surigao on Mindanao. Yeah, hasn't been great. Every day another setback. So maybe today we can have a good turn. It doesn't look like it. Look at these poor guys. Look at this. So it looks like he's got one of his cruiser raiding units here near Fiji. It's probably going to be it for the South Sea there. If one of those 8-inch shells hits it, it's finished. There it is. I think it's dead. Oh man. Well, I kind of figured that was going to happen. So I sent the South Sea out because I had it in port and I knew it was going to die anyway. So I thought I could at least kind of use it for scouting before it died. And there, sure enough, we have the Chikuma and the Nachi here. Okay, well, it's good to know that we've got some rowboats here. Oh, we got a hit. Okay. Warden's going to take a shot at it now. Warden's got some K-guns on there now. This one's got a pretty decent ASW suite. Oh, nice. So it's nice to see that. All right, we're putting some damage on this sub. Nice, another hit. Well, awesome. Okay, so I have these guys out here doing some ASW work in between Noumea and New Caledonia. And yeah, we got some hits on this rowboat. I don't know if it's going to sink, but I definitely saw that it got hurt pretty bad. Let's see if any of our night bombers can get into anywhere today. Now, I doubt we're going to hit anything with heavy rain. Yep. So basically anything going into a ball is not going to hit. Okay, Bangkok. Okay, there we go. Looks like we destroyed a Sally on the ground and did a little bit of damage to the field too. Hopefully we get a few more in there. Nice. Nice. Here we go. Awesome. All right, we're destroying some aircraft on the ground here. Oh, we had to we had to trade a B-17 for it though. I don't know if that was worth it. Okay, Liberators don't do anything at Rabaul. And nothing there. Rabaul has proven to be incredibly difficult for me to do damage to right now. Nope. Nothing. That's it for the night bombing here. Killed a few aircraft, but we had to lose a B-17 to do it. Okay, now we're into daytime stuff. So what you're seeing there are my destroyers reacting to submarines. Oh, that's not good. Man, he's still going for it. Man, look at all this stuff. Okay, now we're doing AM airstrikes. Alright, so it looks like he's going in very heavy today in this hex, which is telling me he's preparing for another attack here. Doesn't cause too much casualties, but it's very disruptive to the troops. We are helped by the terrain being pretty good and severe storms. Wow, look at this. Jeez. Alright, he's coming back to Changsha with a vengeance. Look at that. He's looking to really stop the fort building there. Yep. Multiple raids in Changsha. He must be planning for another assault here. This raid's not quite as effective. Okay. Hits it again. And another raid going in up here. So we know exactly where he's looking to hit now. To attack on the ground. So many aircraft. They still have sorties. I can't believe it. Oh, guys, get out of there. Get out of there. Ah! Oh, man. Why did they go down that far? I just threw these guys away. Dang it. This whole thing was an error. What you're seeing here was a mistake. I'll explain it later, but we should not have lost these guys right now. This was a complete and utter waste of ships. Dang it. How do they still have sorties? I don't understand how the Hiryu has been able to fly so many sorties without having any kind of, like, need to go back and rearm. Alright, let's just get to the end of this. Well, I basically just threw away 3 destroyers for absolutely nothing here. And of course, Lodrik's aircraft seem to have endless amounts of sorties, and they can just fly forever. So, these guys are gone. And he's still got vowels on top of that. So now these guys are going to die. There it is. 2 more ships sunk from that convoy. None of them are going to make it in. Golly! They have endless sorties on that carrier. Man, that's... Alright, now we're in the PM phase. Oh, looks like he's found our troops that are retreating from Balikpapan. We're out in the middle of nowhere. This guy's gonna die. Yep. All these guys, not a single ship from that convoy made it. He killed all of them with one carrier. That's incredible. Nothing made it through. I don't understand how many sorties here you can have. It's been operating for 2 weeks out here, flying missions, and it's still attacking. I don't get it. Oh, here it is, guys. This is definitely in the Malay. He has 2 full divisions here now. There's no way these guys can hold. Let's go ahead and see. Yep, there it is. Man. That's it, man. Look at that. Fortress Malay in the mountains of Mindanao has been reduced. We take heavy casualties from that during the retreat. That's really it. Like, I still have these troops here, but they're shattered. It's more or less the end of the Philippines. Okay. I figured this was going to happen too. This unit got stuck, couldn't quite make it into Henyang in time. At least we know what he's got here. 2 divisions, 2 brigades, armored car, and a crap division, and a mortar battalion. Well, he just helped them get there faster, so thanks for the boost. It only cost me 4,000 troops to do it. Alright, oh! We're back to the Lodrik special. The bombardment attacks. Alright. He's... okay. Let's see here. Yep. Now we know he really wants to break through here. So he's bombing it and bombarding it. He wants in here. We take quite a bit of casualties during that because we just have no way to answer to it. 2,500 AV. That's what he's got. Oh, Darwin again, guys. Are we going to hold or are we going to fold? I don't think we're going to hold, but I've been wrong before. Let's find out. We held out again. Dang, that's incredible. Darwin holds again, but look at that. We actually had a full unit destroyed now. We're losing a lot of stuff. I don't... maybe one more day? Maybe one more day? Maybe one more day at Darwin and that's it. We can't take these kind of losses indefinitely. Naughty. Alright, this is going to be quick. Yep. Man. There it is. We lose some aircraft on the ground there. These were disabled. I couldn't get them out. So when he took the base, these things were just captured or destroyed on the ground. And there's your casualties. And next to Suva. And we're not going to be able to stop that either. Hey, 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 hey! Come on! That's us! That's us! Can we do it? Can we do it? Yes! we took Pisanukokole. Nice! Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. We took it. All right. Finally, something good happens here. Finally, our first attack was successful. And we basically took 0 casualties in that whole thing. That's amazing. Fantastic. All right. I mean, it doesn't make up for losing Fiji, but it small victories. I was wondering when he was going to do this. There you go. So, the Japanese captured Yan'an, which was an undefended base anyway. I abandoned it months ago. I'm really shocked that it took him this long to take it. Oh, well, there you go. Ooh. Okay, we had some airfields and fortification levels go up, which is good. We'll see if we get any reinforcements here. I don't think we're scheduled to get much. All right, we'll talk about this. As you can see, we're refitting some stuff. Okay, getting some ships. Oh, those are transfers. All right. Yeah, let's talk. Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's get this going. This one. Password. Database was updated this turn or the last turn. Database was updated. What? Database updated this turn. What? Hmm. Okay, it's been a interesting last couple days. Let me try to bring you up to speed of what's happened here. So, I get the files back from Lodrik, right? I watched the combat replay, no big deal. Well, it was a big deal. I got jacked up, but you know, the files seem fine. I go to load the turn file, which is what I show you here, and it tells me the database has been changed, and it's kind of a big deal. So, what is the database? The database is everything. It has the stats for the ships, the supply, the fuel, you name it. Like all the little numbers that make this game work are in the database, and it can be changed. And it's the Japanese player in the play by email that has the capability of modifying the game. If we were playing a modded game and I wanted to mod files, I would give them to Lodrik and he'd load them on the Japanese side for us and we'd play it. Yeah. Long story short, something got changed and it throws up red flags to me because I'm like, well, I can't see what's been changed. What's going on here? According to Lodrik, he switched over to a new computer and he reinstalled the game and somehow it made his database change. I've never heard of that before. That's new to me. I did a lot of asking in my Discord. I went on the forums and no one can really explain how reinstalling the game on a new computer would change the database because we're playing on a stock scenario, no modifications. So I was a little concerned. So I asked Lodrik to fix it. And I basically made him completely reinstall the game. That didn't fix it, apparently. Then I made him grab the files off his old laptop, put them on the new computer, and make the turn again, run the whole turn over again, and that appears to have fixed it. So now I get this message. It says that it should say no database changes made, but when I load the game, I don't get that message when I'm loading up that says the database has been changed. And I think this is just probably the game trying to get caught back up to where we were. I'm hoping it's fixed, but yeah, a little concerning to say the least when you get a message that the database has been changed and you didn't agree to that. But anyway, that's what happened. That's the drama. I think we're good now. Yeah, let's get with the turn. Okay, aircraft losses this turn, 8-8. We lost 3 of these Dragon Rapides because they were on the ground at Nadi. I don't know why I didn't move them. It was stupid. But they're dead. He lost 2 Sallies, 2 Babs, which are recon planes. 2 Jakes shot down by flak. I'm not even sure how that happened. I'll have to try to figure out where these Jakes were shot down at. That's weird. We lose 2 P-40s on the ground at Nadi. They were damaged. I couldn't move them. He loses an Oscar that we bombed with the B-17s. Looks like he lost a Val. We lost another P-39 that was also on the ground. Nadi was disabled. This Marauder was actually packed up in the ship that he sank. And then we had 1 B-17 shot down flak. Of those 8 aircraft losses, we only had 1 pilot killed, which isn't too bad. Looking at the pilots who were wounded, we've got Ingersoll, who's a British pilot. Let's see if we can get him back. Ingersoll and McCuskey. All right, I'm transferring to the reserve to see if we can induce a due date to return. So looking here, let's look for Ingersoll. Okay, we're getting Ingersoll back. Cool. And McCuskey. There he is. We're getting him back. And he's a pretty decent pilot, too. That's good. Take a look at old Tanner B. Still no return date, but we'll keep watching it. At some point, something's got to happen here, right? Or I retire them. Drinking my coffee at 6:21 in the morning here. Okay. Let's take a look at Army lost points. We went up 105 points in Army lost points this last turn. Lodrik went up 3. And this was due to the blowout at Malay and also at Nadi. We lost two bases this last turn, and a lot of troops were lost in that process. So we took on quite a bit more Army lost points. Allied ships sunk. This is the most painful metric to me in this whole campaign so far. Never in a million years would I have thought that Lodrik could do this to me, but he has. So the last turn we lost the South Sea, the Morris, and 2 transports loaded with aircraft, and the Thrush. Not good. And on top of that, I'm going to show you something in the ops report here in just a minute that is actually bad for us. But I'll give you a hint. Yeah, there's one less sub on this list. All right. So taking a look at the score situation, it's actually getting kind of bad for me. Lodrik gained a total of 178 points this last turn, and now the ratio is 1.547 to 1. So I have in free fall right now. The last 6 turns, I've been losing tons of points, and at the rate that I'm losing points, if I don't do something to fix this in the next, I don't know, 9 months, we may lose this thing. So obviously that's a big, tall order for me to lose this, given what we're at right now. But still, it's not good. He's definitely coming on strong, and when we look at the strategic situation here, it's actually really bad. Let's get on to it. All right, so I have already reviewed the combat report. I saw nothing really noteworthy that we didn't already see in the replay, but I do have some SIGINT that is interesting. So let's just start with this one. The 1st Raiding Regiment is at Wuchang, so let's take a look at that. That's in China. This is Wuchang, the Wuchang clan, right? Is that Wutang? raiding regiments for the Japanese are their parachute regiments, and you know how that went for us a couple months ago when he parachuted into Henyang and almost cut off Changsha. It's always good to know where the Japanese raiding regiments are at. So as of this moment, he's got a parachute regiment in Wuchang, but where he can actually parachute into, I don't know. We've reinforced all the bases, right? So he can't like come in here and take a base from me because they're all defended now. But it's still good to know where those are at. The next interesting piece of SIGINT was the fact that Singapore had 2 mentions of heavy radio traffic. So if we take a look at that, we get some really good intel here. Singapore, it shows us how many aircraft he's got here, how the industry looks. Looks like he's definitely building up his ship repair yards. And we get to see how many ships are in port. So 2 mentions of heavy radio traffic gives you all that information, which is very good. Man, I wish I could get in there and do something about that. Look at that. Oh, there you go. Singapore's popping right now. And the last SIGINT mention that I thought was noteworthy was this. Where's it at? Okay, look it. 124th Infantry Regiment planning for an attack on Colombo. That is now the 3rd or 4th piece of SIGINT that was telling us that a unit is planning to attack Colombo. So I'm taking this seriously now. I mean, Lodrik just did this to us, right? And then he just did this to us, right? So why can't he attack Colombo? Now, I think it'd be dangerous for him to do that with everything we got here, right? But he could still try it. So I'm taking it seriously. I'm moving troops to Ceylon just to have them there. And we're going to stay protected in Ceylon because I just don't want to take the risk of something serious happening here and me not being prepared for it. Because most of our SIGINT that we've had to date has been accurate. When it says he's going to attack somewhere, he has. Let me give you some examples. It said that he was planning for an attack on Tarakan. He did it. We had information that he was planning for an attack down here, and he did it. A lot of the places that he said he's going to attack in China, he has. So the SIGINT's been accurate, so why would that one not be? He doesn't have to act on it, though, right? Just because it says that he's planning for an attack doesn't mean he's going to execute the attack. But it would be foolhardy for me not to take it with some validity, right? Okay. So let's talk about the ops report. I saw quite a bit of information in there that's noteworthy. So let's get down to this. I'll start with, where's it at? Okay, the Yorktown has been repaired at Colombo. There it is. This was the ship that was damaged during our raid on the Bay of Bengal. That was around the mid-February, right? Well, she's back up and running now, so we have the Yorktown back in action, fully repaired. Okay. I also have some supplies being airlifted into Catherine, although it's going very slowly. Where is that at? Right here. So I'm using as many transport planes as I've got to bring supplies into Catherine, but unfortunately they're moving very slowly. So I'm trying to get as much supply as possible moved south into Catherine so I can repair these aircraft to evacuate them. Alright. Let's talk about this. I saw this was pretty cool. Where is it at? There's something really cool in here. I just gotta find it. Oh, pilot Harper M reported as having been found. So I mentioned this before. Every now and then the game has a mechanic where pilots who are MIA sometimes are found again. And in this case, we got one of our pretty decent pilots here. So if we look for Harper M, there he is. Lieutenant Colonel. So this was a squadron leader, I believe. Harper M, who was previously lost somewhere, has been found. He's coming back to the reserve this month. And he's a U.S. Army bomber pilot. So awesome. It's always good to get pilots back. All right. Now, I saw this in the ops report, which unfortunately wasn't so great for us. Let's see where that's at. Oh, previous report of sinking of I-166 is incorrect. Intelligence reports ship is still in service. So one of the subs that I thought we had sunk actually is not sunk, and our intel is telling us that it's alive. That's not good. Okay, check out this YMS 95 at Stockton. This is actually pretty cool. So we're starting to get these better yard minesweepers, right? But these things are actually really capable because they have an ASW rating of 2, right? They have decent speed and really good range. So these would make some really nice convoy escorts in and out of the West Coast, maybe even bringing in some battleships from Pearl. These YMSs are really nice. So I want to find a way to get these into the fight really soon because they're kind of like an American Corvette, if you will, right? Obviously, the Corvettes are better. Let me show you one. Yeah, obviously these KVs are better, right? They have more ASW, a little more range, a little more speed, but we don't get a ton of those, but we will get a ton of those YMSs. So I'm gonna find a way to get these guys utilized, and I think they're gonna be great. All right. Okay, I think I'm done with the ops report. Let's go ahead and get into the situation. We'll start in China. He is starting to heavily attack this hex. A lot of bombers last turn. He's bombarding now. He's definitely setting up for another attack in this hex. But I do have some good news here. This unit here, where is it at? Nope. Where is it at? I have a unit that's, I think it's this one. No, this one. This one gets into the hex next turn, and it's bringing in 371 AV, which is a huge increase in fighting capability. It's got excellent morale, no disruption, no fatigue. So this is going to actually add another like 25% more AV to this hex in one turn, more or less, maybe a little bit more. So it will get in there before he attacks. And it's going in combat mode, so it won't get caught in a weird situation. So things are looking okay in this hex, and I've got more troops coming in there because I'm just trying to split the balance because this thing's got 3,700, this thing's got 1,400. I'm moving some over to try to balance it out, and I think if we get this thing to about 2,000, he's gonna have a hard time breaking through there. Again, he is working on Changsha. We're finally getting some of this damage repaired because a lot of his bombers were sent up to this hex to try to break through there. Once we get this damage repaired, we can get back to building these two things up because we have plenty of engineers to do it. They just need to get ahead of the damage. I think he's planning for another attack on Changsha, though. He probably knows that we've had to take some out of here to split between these two hexes, but he doesn't know exactly how much. So maybe he's hoping these diversionary attacks down here have drawn troops out of here to reinforce these, and he thinks that he can break through now, but he really can't. Because we still got tons of AV here. We have almost size 4 forts and plenty of supplies, so he's not going to break through at Changsha. Alright, on a happier note, we finally had something good happen for us. So in Thailand, our offensive continues. And we just took Pisanuloke. I'm never saying that right. Pisanuloke. Whatever it's called, we took it. He had a Royal Thai division there guarding it. He doesn't seem to care. Or else why would he not reinforce this? To me, it doesn't make sense to not build these bases up and have them prepared. Like, it's almost like he never planned to take Burma and Rangoon from the start. I don't really understand that strategy. To me, it's critical as a Japanese player to take out Burma early on, and he's kind of missed his window now. So we're going to continue to monitor this blob of troops down here, but they definitely cannot rail up to here anymore. We've taken that out. So if he wants to come back and take it, he's going to have to walk. And we'll see him coming. So now what's going to happen is the cleanup crew is going to come in from behind. And we're going to take Chiang Mai and these, and we'll build a new front line through here. And I'll start moving reinforcements down this road this way. And we'll start planning for an attack on Bangkok. Now, I'm going to need a lot more troops in this. So this is a work in progress. It's going to take a while. But we're keeping pressure on Lodrik in Thailand. And we're forcing him to commit a lot of troops here that he could probably use somewhere else. So if he's looking to take Colombo, for example, he would probably need these troops to do it. But if he knows that we're applying pressure in Thailand, he's going to be hesitant to take these troops and move them towards Ceylon. He's going to want to guard Bangkok because it's critical to anchoring this flank of his possessions, right? Bangkok has a great airfield, which can be expanded even more than this, and it's important for him to keep this protected. So even if we don't get too far in Thailand right now, we're keeping him busy and pinned down here, which is a good thing. I did also notice this, unfortunately, at Port Blair. We do appear to have Japanese troops moving into the island, because why else would you have an AK there? So this guy needs to get off his butt and do something. So I'm going to have these guys go back and forth in an attempt to intercept these ships and sink something. He's definitely looking to reinforce Port Blair. And that's going to be bad for me because he can get patrol planes that could theoretically reach almost as far as Colombo, if not all the way there. Waiting for this. Any day now, we're going to have a shock attack coming across the river into Palembang. Maybe the next turn. My guess is the next turn, we're going to have a shock attack and Palembang will fall. We can only hope that the engineers have done their job and rigged everything for explosives, right? I want all this fuel and supply exploded. All right. In the Philippines, Malay has fallen. That's really our last base that we had left to defend. These bases here are not important. They don't help me with anything. This base was important because of the terrain that they had. Mountain terrain. So we're here now, and we're going to stay here. And we're just going to die here. There's nowhere else for us to go. There's no point in retreating south. We're not going to retake any base. So my troops in the Philippines are going to sit here, and this is where they will die. There's nowhere else to go. So you can also see him moving towards Bacolod right here. This unit will probably not do too well because these Philippine troops are just not that great. But he's rapidly wrapping up things in the Philippines. So I say by April, mid-April, he'll have all the bases in the Philippines, and that'll be the end of it. It didn't figure to last, but I was hoping we could do better. All right, so down here in Darwin, we did have a pretty decent showing where our troops, once again, they held off an attack by his forces here. But I think we're down to the limit here. The Emery Point fortress is badly disrupted now, so they're really not in play. And the rest of the units have taken heavy losses, so I don't see us holding out much longer here. I can only hope that a lot of these guys are able to retreat down to Catherine and bring the supply with them out of here, so that we can, so we can so we can get these aircraft repaired and get them out. But I don't think Darwin's going to last much longer. Coming around the corner in Australia, there's nothing going on out here. Nothing down here. Nothing all the way to Port Moresby. We do see some activity at Rabaul. He's moving more ships in and out of here, but nothing I can do about it. So, yep. Solomon's pretty status quo for now. Now, over here, not so much the same story. Lodrik has successfully taken Nadi, and now he's on the move to Suva. So now what I need to do is get the rest of these aircraft packed up and get them the heck out of here, because otherwise they're just going to get taken when he takes the island. This is a really bad situation right now to be losing Fiji. That was worth 125 points. Suva's worth 825. That's a huge point swing in his favor, and not the kind of stuff that we need to be seeing in this campaign right now. And here are the strategic implications of taking Fiji. Patrol planes covering this whole area. Aircraft that can deny me getting troops into Noumea. I don't have much on Suva to lose, so it's not like I'm losing a lot of assets, him taking it, right? But the point swing is bad, and then he'll be at his leisure to take the rest of these little islands out here, and each one of these are worth some points, right? It's just points. And now it's just a base I have to retake from him later on, if I even get that far. And it's a very decent base and port for him to operate out of. So now he's got connecting bases from Rabaul to Lagi, Luganville, and Nadi, and Suva when he takes it. And he's cutting me off, basically. He's slicing this whole area I cannot use anymore, right? All the way down through here. I really can't even come anywhere near it. Pago Pago is now at risk of falling because I can't really reinforce it from Noumea. I have to reinforce it from Pearl, and that's a long way to go. And from here, he can build this base up enough and get some AKEs and some repair ships or whatever he wants to do, and operate his cruiser raiding task forces and all that stuff all through here and cut off my supply to New Zealand. So it's really a bad situation for him right now. Lodrik seems to have shifted his focus from up here, right, where he used to be operating before we took out the carriers. He shifted all of his focus down here to the South Pacific because that's where my carriers are not at. And now he's caught us flat-footed and we have nothing to repel him with. And let me show you another situation that's actually really bad for me. Last turn I made the decision to move all these transport ships. I wanted to evacuate them from Noumea just to get them out, right? But now we have this carrier task force with a ton of aircraft. And they're not exactly that far away. If he full speeds over here, he can move 18 hexes, which would put him about here. I don't know if my ships can get out of the way in time. He can run them down in 2 turns, right? And kill all of this. I was fine with this before, but then the submarine intercepted us here, right? The one that we shot up. It's RO-63. The secret's out. He knows that we're moving ships right here. So if I were Lodrik, I would take this carrier task force and full speed it over to right here and try to intercept this. So now I have to abort this mission, right? And we have to go back to Noumea ASAP. Because it's no longer safe for me to continue being at open sea. It's going to take us 4 days to get to Sydney from where our current position is. We could try for Brisbane, but if you look at that, Brisbane is 17 hexes, and this task force is only moving at 2 a day. It's just too slow. So that would take us 4 or 5 days to get to Brisbane even from here. And these guys could catch up to us. So I am heading back to Noumea. These ships are now stuck. And we're just going to stay here and wait. And we'll be under the umbrella of these aircraft here, which I'm comfortable with. We have 165 fighters here, which is enough to protect us from this. But I just cannot risk losing ships out here unprotected. And that's a big deal because I wanted as much evacuated from Noumea as possible because I know he's going for it. We've seen him planning for it. He's got the assets available to do it. I think he's emboldened now and he would actually try for it. So I can't risk the ships out here getting sunk for nothing. So we're going back to Noumea and we're just going to have to ride it out until I can find a way to extricate everything out. Bad situation. Well, I'm about ready to wrap up this video. Lodrik is really pouring it on hard in the South Pacific, and I'm not happy about it. I do want to show this to you guys, though. Normally, this is a bit of intel that I wouldn't want to share, but I think it's important. I've made the decision to bring the Saratoga and the Lexington into the shipyard for an upgrade. And you may be asking, why would you do that? You should be sending your carriers down to the South Pacific. And I would say you're right, but here's the problem. These two carriers here are too big to fit into the only shipyard that I've got down here that's any good at Sydney. Sydney can only accommodate a 30,000 ton ship. So these carriers can't be repaired down here if I move them down to this area. I'd have to take them all the way back to Pearl to get them fixed, and that's a long drive. So I want to make sure that if I do elect at some point to move my carriers down to the South Pacific, that they're going to be as capable as possible, because they're going to have to stand on their own for a while. I'm not going to really be able to move them again if they get damaged. So I've made the decision to delay moving my carriers for a while and getting these guys upgraded. Right? Look at the AA rating that they're going to get afterwards. It's phenomenal. This is the Death Star of AA for 1942. And I think it's important that these ships get these upgrades before I send them on a long journey where they're not going to have the opportunity to do it again for a while. So I'm bringing the Saratoga and the Lexington down for this long refit. And once they're back up, then we can make a decision where to move them. But that means at least for the next month or two, there's going to be no carriers in the South Pacific, and we're going to have to ride this out. We're going to turtle up at Noumea in New Zealand. Whatever convoys are out here are just going to have to tough it out, right? These guys are still pushing through. They're just dead. Nothing I can do about it. Everything that's already been moving is moving. I can't stop it. And we're going to ride it out. But I don't want to send my carriers down to the South Pacific unless they're as capable as they possibly can be. All right. One last thing I want to cover here. Obviously, we know that he destroyed more ships down here, but I want to talk about this real quick because this was a complete waste. Very, very upsetting to me what happened here. These are my last 3 Clemsons, really, more or less. And I just destroyed them. I was bringing them down from Auckland, down this way, and had them going straight for Wellington, but I stupidly put them to react at max reactive 6. I don't know why I did this. I'm calling it a mistake. And they somehow reacted into this direction, and I don't know why. There was no subs down here for them to react to, but they came down here to react on an ASW patrol, and it put them within range of these guys. And now they're all dead. None of these will make it out. And these are my last really 3 Clemsons, which would have been some fantastic destroyer escorts. But now I've wasted them. And this was a mistake. And I'm still making mistakes, and that's why I've done so poorly in this campaign. I'm not learning from my mistakes. I should know to cease and desist all ships within a 20 hex radius of any Japanese carriers, because Lodrik just doesn't care anymore. He's going right at it for anything. And all of these things are now at risk of getting sunk. So this was not on purpose. This was not a suicide. They were intended to go to Wellington and disband, but I set the react to 6 and they reacted into something, and now they're dead. So another mistake that's going to cost me 3 great destroyers next turn. Well, I'll tell you what. If anything, I'm just digging myself a really deep hole that I'm going to have to get out of. So watching me turn this around and come back from this should be even more fun, because I'm not really stomping out Lodrik anymore. I was having a good run for a while, but we're back to being on the back foot again, and I don't see a resolution anytime soon. So I'm in it for the long haul now, and I hope you guys are too. I'm in a deep hole, and you're going to have to watch me crawl out of this. Catch you in the next one.